Hi guys, do you enjoy the new fragrances launching soon videos? I did one just recently and I've got another one for you today. But the last one I did, it seemed like it was a little late because I prepped it before I left to Europe. And it took me a while to shoot it. But anyway, I've got another video for you today of new fragrances launching soon. Exciting fragrances that were just announced, and I'm going to talk to you about them coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian. Yes, lots of new goodies launching soon. It's interesting, I was at a couple of different perfume shows while I was in Europe, and I got to sample some of these. Not all of them, and I'm going to tell you which ones I've sampled. But there's a whole boatload of new ones that are coming out soon, and I'm always excited for new fragrances, and I'm going to talk to you all about them. Before I do though, if this is your first time tuning into this channel and you haven't subscribed, please click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. Let's jump right into this. First one we're going to talk about is BYREDO's Eyes Closed. You know what? I have to be honest. BYREDO just keeps cranking them out. Lots of fragrances that are launching from this house. I feel like their catalog is so big. Are you a fan of BYREDO? Does this one sound great to you? Eyes Closed features notes of patchouli, cinnamon, cardamom, carrot, ginger, and papyrus. Seems like it's very spicy and woody, earthy as well. And this is my kind of fragrance, so I'm very excited about this one. Love patchouli. I love this warmth of the cinnamon. We've got the cinnamon note in here, which is warm, spicy. And you've got the fresh, spicy note of cardamom and ginger in here as well. And the papyrus is that kind of very earthy, kind of woody note that kind of is reminiscent of things like patchouli, vetiver, and things like that. And then of course the carrot comes in here to give you that iris powderiness. So we'll see how this one is. It kind of reminds me of another fragrance of theirs and I can't remember what it is right now. Moving on to number 2, a new one from Sarah Baker called Gold Spot. Another fragrance created by Chris Maurice. If you recall, Sarah Baker's Ludo was featured in my Scent Club kit number 1 from several months ago, and this is another fragrance created by Chris Maurice because Ludo was also created by Chris Maurice. And Gold Spot features notes of orange blossom, bergamot, neroli, butterscotch, dark chocolate, cypriol, Laotian oud, Suyufi agarwood, musk, amber, vanilla, sweet myrrh. So once again, we've got something very, very complex, as Chris Maurice knows how to do well. And Ludo featured white chocolate. Here we have dark chocolate. So I feel like they're kind of somehow related. I don't know if they are. We shall see. But I'm always excited to smell a new fragrance by Sarah Baker, and of course a fragrance created by Chris Maurice. So moving on to Montale. Montale has a new fragrance called, or coming out, called Rendezvous à Paris, a fragrance inspired by Paris, I'm assuming, or maybe this is a boutique exclusive, because I believe they have Rendezvous à Milan. I think that's what it's called, the Milan exclusive, the boutique in Milan. So this might be an exclusive one. But either way, I'm excited for a new Montale as always. And then this one features notes of pear, rhubarb, rose, white flowers, patchouli, ginger, musk, vanilla, sugar, and amber. Always excited for a new fragrance from Montale. Montale fragrances are very, very intense and long-lasting, so I'm curious to smell this one. It's funny though, I've traveled to Paris so much. I've never been to the Montale boutique. But it's funny though, when I go to Paris, I never go to the Champs-Élysées, so that's where the boutique is, I believe. It's been there for years. I never go there. I usually end up being near the Opera Garnier and always visit the boutiques on the Rue Saint-Honoré. But I guess if this is an exclusive to the Paris boutique, I'll have to go visit the next time I'm in Paris. So the next fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is Roja Parfums Manhattan, and I have heard about this one. It seems like it's you know, being a popular launch from this house, and I haven't sampled it, and I believe it's already out, and I'm very, very curious about it. This one features notes of ginger, pink pepper, cinnamon, cloves, patchouli, oakmoss, tobacco, vetiver, cedarwood, pine, benzoin, vanilla, musk, rose, violet, coconut, lavender. As always with Roja Parfums fragrances, it's chock full of notes, and they're usually base heavy notes, and the experience with Roja Parfums fragrances is, for me, better in the base and somewhat kind of boring at the top, although I think since the fragrances of Roja Parfums are so complex in the base, you start to already experience the base notes when you're, you know, kind of in the top and the heart notes. But I think I did not mention the name of this fragrance. It's Manhattan, Roja Parfums Manhattan, and I'm very excited about it. But moving on to RAMMSTEIN, it's RAMMSTEIN Engel Pure. So Engel Pure is, what does that Engel mean? Does that mean angel? So this one features notes of Sichuan pepper, cannabis, vetiver, grapefruit zest, elemi resin. Man, if I'm complaining about BYREDO launching a lot of fragrances, it seems like RAMMSTEIN is also, or RAMMSTEIN I should say, RAMMSTEIN is also launching a ton of fragrances. They keep cranking them out. I don't know. They're not available in the USA. It's very hard to get. And if you're living in the USA, you'll have to have some friends or relatives in Germany that are visiting there or that live there to get them for you, because they're very, very difficult to get. But once again, I'm curious about a new RAMMSTEIN fragrance. If those of you that are in Germany, is this one out yet and have you sampled it? Do let me know. Put a comment down so I can find out. Moving on to Gucci Alchemist Garden fragrance, A Reason to Love. So A Reason to Love for me feels like it's a oud and rose combo. Always love those, of course. And in the Alchemist Garden collection, they do not already have an oud and rose. They have a separate oud fragrance and also the Voice of the Snake, but they now finally are launching an oud rose combo. Are they a little late? Although I think this combo is always very, very popular, so I think it should be fine. It features notes of damask rose, peony, cardamom, oud, tolu balsam. So once again, it's that oud rose combo. It does feature some spices, and then of course it has the floral notes. Peony and rose always go together. I think they do complement one another. And then of course with the tolu balsam, this one's going to be ambery in the dry down. So we'll see how it is. Most likely that fragrance is created by Alberto Moraes. And he's created all of the Alchemist Garden fragrances. Moving on to Histoire de Parfums, this is Encens Roy. And I got to sample this at Aix-en-Provence earlier this year in June, and I enjoyed it. I think it's a fragrance created by Julien Rascanet. We shall see. But it's frankincense, chamomile, pepper tree, saffron, pimento, cedar, cocoa, oud, cistus, vanilla. You know what? I've been complaining about incense, but lately I discovered some incenses that I really, really liked. So now I'm kind of like full swing back to enjoying incense fragrances. Incense fragrances that are dark and cold and not so warm are kind of boring to me, but the warm ones are really, really great. I really enjoy warm incense fragrances that kind of become ambery in the base. This one seems like it's kind of that way, but we shall see. It's got the vanilla, so it might, you know, make it sweet. And of course it's got the cistus, which creates the amber, so amber vanilla together with oud and incense. Yeah, I think this one's going to be great. Although, you know what am I saying? I've already sampled it and I thought it was pretty good. But when I sampled it, you know, of course it was at a show and I had sampled a ton of things. So I'd like to sample it separately. So moving on to Juice Box Perfumes, we've got Visionary Eye. And Visionary Eye is a fragrance I've already sampled. In fact, if you haven't caught my video shot at the Juice Box Perfumes boutique in Milan, you should go catch that. I just aired it and I got to do a video with Andrea and Chiara, who are brother-sister owners of Juice Box Perfumes, and also they are the folks behind the brand Costume National. And with Costume National and also Juice Box, they work with IFF perfumers, and Visionary Eye is created by Dominique Ropion. Of course, the previous fragrance that I talked about, Histoire de Parfums Encens Roy, I believe is Julien Rascanet, and of course Juice Box Perfumes also works with Julien Rascanet. But this is a great iris fragrance. It's an iris balm, and it features notes of iris, lavender, absinthe, white thyme, bergamot, cinnamon, lavender, sandalwood, vanilla, and musk. Sounds fabulous? Of course it is. I've already sampled it, and a great fragrance created by Dominique Ropion for Juice Box Perfumes. And speaking of Costume National, they have a new fragrance called Freedom. If you follow me on Instagram, I've already posted about this. Freedom, it's a fragrance created by Julien Rascanet. It's very woody, and I feel like this particular fragrance seems like it would be perfect for a man that's looking for a fragrance that's both fresh and kind of hefty, because it's very, very woody. It's got very woody, earthy touches, but it's freshened up and brightened up with lemon and citruses. So we've got this contrast of depth from the woods and the earthiness, and of course the freshness from the lemon and citruses in there. there. So it's basically the contrast of those two, and I feel like this particular fragrance will be perfect for a man looking for some, you know, fragrances that are classy, that are masculine, that are gentlemanly, but you've got the best of both worlds. You've got this kind of freshness and of course the depth, but it features notes of lemons, key lime, saffron, cypriol, cistus, and frankincense. So it's a nice combination of notes that are both fresh and, you know, intense, earthy, woody, as I said. So Les Galions is a great house that I used to speak a lot about, but I have kind of fallen behind, and I'm going to circle back because especially now they've gotten their new bottles designed, and I feel like their bottles are so classy. I got to sample Fervor back in June as well, when they had just put out their brand new looking bottles. They used to be these round kind of cylindrical bottles. Now they're kind of flat and just really beautifully designed. Really beautiful bottles. This Fervor sounds really good. I don't remember the way this one smells, even though I sampled it at Essence back in June. And this is a fragrance created by Rodrigo Flores Rue. Features notes of amber, leather, frankincense, vetiver, vanilla, styrax, tolu, patchouli, iris, rose, coriander, cinnamon leaf. Warm, spicy, leather, amber, incense, all combined together. Love the idea of this one, totally do. So Les Galions Fervor. They are now being sold at Neiman Marcus. They're on their website, but the brand is not specifically sold in store, but it is on the Neiman Marcus website. Moving on to Quinto Canto Brun from Quinto Canto, sister company to Tiziana Terenzi. Fragrances created by Paolo Terenzi. Beautiful yellow bottle. I really love this bottle. I'm strikingly golden yellow, but it features notes of Cambodian oud, sandalwood, patchouli, bourbon vanilla, musk, jasmine, sambac, ambergris, ylang ylang, magnolia, and clary sage. Yeah, I really always love fragrances from the house of Terenzi, Quinto Canto, and a few of their other you know, brands that they own. This one sounds really, really great as well. Moving on to Initio Parfums Paragon. This one's very, very hyped right now. Everybody's asking me if I'm going to review it. You would not believe how many messages I've received and emails and comments. Are you going to review Paragon? Are you going to review Paragon? Hopefully, as soon as I can get my hands on one, I will review it. But it features notes of Palo Santo, oud, sandalwood, black pepper, plum, bergamot, white sage, and lavender. Palo Santo, is that having a moment? We'll see. But I'm curious about Paragon, as always I am with Initio Parfums fragrances. So here's a brand that I haven't spoken much about on the channel, and I really love their bottles. A year ago, I discovered them selling at the Real Real here in San Francisco. But just before Barney's went out of business, they had received the fragrances at the San Francisco Barney's, but sadly I never got to really explore them. This is Orme, and they have a new fragrance called Tableau Parisien. I'm curious about this one. It's vanilla, tobacco, tonka beans, benzoin, tuberose, rose, spices, heliotrope, mandarin orange, petitgrain, ginger, and basil. So, you know, I really want to explore this collection, and I think there's gonna, you know, premiere at a store here in San Francisco soon, in addition to the Real Real. We shall see. I'm excited, and I'm really looking forward to trying Tableau Parisien. Moving on to the House of Oud Ruby Red. Really beautiful bottle, wonderful looking bottle, and I really enjoy the fragrances of this house, and they sell them at ZGO Perfumery here in the city. There are a few fragrances that I own. I really love What About Pop? The caramel popcorn, really yummy. And this one sounds really great as well. It's ginger, candied ginger, vanilla woods, musk, ginger flower, ylang ylang, tuberose, tangerine. This one seems like a ginger bomb. Really, really beautiful sounding fragrance. Ruby Red sounds great. I'm looking forward to trying the House of Oud's Ruby Red. Let me know if you're excited for it. And are you a fan of ginger in fragrances? Really love ginger in fragrances, by the way. Moving on to the obvious Parfums fragrances, Un Oud. So they have all these fragrances in the collection. They're either Un or Un fragrances. They have Rose, the Bois, and they have Poivre, they have Vanille, they have Patchouli, Musk, Vervain, they have Fig, and now it's the Oud. Of course, everybody's going to have an oud because oud is very, very popular note. And this one features notes of leather, oud, papyrus, cedar, vetiver, saffron, elemi, sage, cardamom, bergamot, pink pepper. If you guys don't know this house, I have a video on the house. Go catch it. It doesn't feature every single fragrance in it. And I feel like this house is underrated and underhyped, and their fragrances are fairly good. And I feel like they fall in the category of just a little better than designers and not as good as like really intense, I shouldn't say not as good, not as hyped, because their fragrances are really, really quality. and I think they deserve the hype. And they're definitely quality fragrances, selling for about the same price as Maison Margiela in their niche house. And I think they should definitely be discovered. Definitely check them out. The fragrances are great. The Patchouli is great. The Bois is great. The woody one. The Musk is great. I think they're all really, really great fragrances. Even that Fig that came out, which is a little marine and aquatic or ozonic. Really a nice collection of fragrances, I have to be honest. Really great stuff. Alright, moving on to the next fragrance. It's Billie Eilish's number 2. You know, the first fragrance from Billie Eilish I didn't really care for. You know, I love vanilla, but that one seemed like very sugary sweet, like overdose of sweetness. But guess what? I did get to sample the new Billie Eilish at TFWA recently, and I'm not sure what to think about it yet. I'm looking forward to trying it. It seems like Palo Santo once again. Palo Santo is having a moment. The latest Maison Violet fragrance is also Palo Santo, if you haven't noticed. But this is Palo Santo, Ebony Wood, Musk, Black Pepper, Papyrus, Corn Rose, Bergamot, and Apple Blossom. It seems this one seems like leans masculine in comparison to the previous Eilish, number 1. This one also seems very meditative, because when I sampled it, it just had this kind of like very spiritual, meditative kind of touch to me. So we'll see. I'll experience more of it when I actually buy a bottle, if I will, but I'm not 100% sold on it. That's the thing. We shall see, because it's totally not what I was expecting from this particular celebrity fragrance. Anyway, moving on to Yves Rocher, My Shiny Vanilla, a really inexpensive vanilla fragrance from this house. It's vanilla and sandalwood, very inexpensive. Sadly, they don't have any stores here in the States. They're all over France. I stopped into a couple of them. But they have a USA website, and you can order from there. This one's like around 30 bucks for 100 ml, maybe a little more. Very inexpensive. And sandalwood, vanilla together seems fairly non-complex. I think the combination is great. Creamy sandalwood, hopefully, and vanilla, you know, kind of syrupy. I think it's going to be great. Sadly, this one's not available when I was walking into the Yves Rocher boutiques while I was in France. But moving on to Juliet Has a Gun, they have a new fragrance, Ego Stratus, and I did get to sample this one as well. From the, I think I was, yeah, I got to sample this. I don't want to say where I got to sample it. But as always, Juliet Has a Gun does do a lot of molecular fragrances in combination with natural ingredients. This one is definitely featuring ambroxan, and I feel like ambroxan or Cetalox is very, very popular note for this brand. So ambroxan, cedar, musk, cologne, neroli, blueberry, bergamot, lemon, and mandarin orange. I felt like it was very citrusy and very fresh and musky, and it reminded me of a few other fragrances. So I'll try it again. As always, when I sample these fragrances when I'm out and about, I'm usually like sampling a lot more, so sometimes I don't remember things. So I need to like have a kind of like a rested nose and to dig into this particular fragrance, if that makes sense. So Juliet Has a Gun, Ego Stratus should be landing very, very soon. And then finally, Le Liquid Imaginaires has a new fragrance called Liquid in this most beautifully gorgeous golden bottle. And I had to feature or discuss it here because I'm starting to really dig this house, but once again, they're very, very underhyped house with some really great fragrances, and they are a sister house to Obvious Parfums, or, you know, related. Both of the brands are very, very underhyped, and they release some great fragrances. This one features notes of solar notes, mandarin orange, saffron, coriander, carrot seeds, orange blossom, jasmine, ambroxan, patchouli, vanilla, white musk, labdanum, and woods. It seems very, very complex for this particular fragrance in comparison to some of their others, but maybe this is kind of a suntan lotion-y, or the solar notes is what's kind of like makes me wonder. So, but I'm very, very curious to sample this one, and I'll dig into it as soon as I can get my nose on it. Anyway, that's the list of fragrances for you guys today. I have a couple of bonuses. Do stick around for those. But let me know which one sounds great to you, and if you've sampled any of them, do let me know. Put a comment down. And is there a fragrance I missed talking about that's launching soon that you've heard about? Do put a comment down so I can find out. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching today. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye. The The bonus fragrances I'm going to talk to you about, one I had already spoken about in a video like this several months ago. It's Jean-Paul Gaultier's Gaultier 2. God, I was waiting for this fragrance. I couldn't find it anywhere. I don't know what the deal with it is. It's supposed to be launching late September, and I looked around and couldn't find it anywhere. So I haven't been able to get my nose on it, but I've been waiting for Gaultier 2, and it's still not out there. So has anybody sampled it yet? Most likely it's going to be reformulated compared to the previous version that was out in the mid-2000s. So I'm really dying to sample this one. And the next one, I'm not sure how true it is. Somebody sent me a photo. Mancera's Tonka Cola. Sounds really great to me. To me, it sounds like a cherry cola vibe. Who knows about this one? Is it a true thing, or is it fake or false? I'm thinking this is true. It's not a false. So it's vanilla, tonka beans, fizzy cola, black cherry, and nutmeg. Man, I'm excited about this one. Really excited about Mancera's Tonka Cola. I really love the name. And it sounds really exciting, and you know Mancera does some great fragrances, so we shall see. Does anyone know if this is legitimate or if it's a fake news running around online? Do let me know. Put a comment down below so I can find out. Anyway guys, talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.